Welcome to the Safe Money Retirement Show with your host, Tim Wood. Tim is a retirement and income specialist, certified financial fiduciary, and the founder of SafeMoneyRetirement.com. Tim primarily serves Western North Carolina, East Tennessee, and Southwest Virginia, but he's sought after nationally for his expertise in helping people secure their retirements. Mr. Wood is a licensed life insurance professional in multiple states and specializes in working with people who are near retirement and those who have already retired with wealth management, income planning, and asset protection strategies using life, health, long-term care, and annuity insurance products. And now, here to talk with you about securing your retirement, your host, Tim Wood.
Welcome to the Safe Money Retirement Show. I'm Tim Wood, an asset and retirement protection and guaranteed income specialist. As many of my longtime listeners and viewers will know, there are many risks in retirement. And there are some that you can plan for and be prepared for, and there's some that can just hit you totally out of the blue. Well, I put together a list of the most common risks in retirement, and we're going to go through them really quick and discuss what possible solutions there could be to some of these risks. First, if you don't already have a copy of my book, Safe Money Retirement, Your Game Plan for Success, I address most every single one of these risks in my book, and I will send you a copy absolutely free. Just log on to our website, safemoneyretirement.com, or you can call us anytime at 833-413-SAFE. Absolutely free, no obligation. It's to help you understand what's available for your retirement to help you overcome these risks. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into these now. I've got these into basically 5 different categories. The first one is outliving resources. Now, this is, when surveyed nationwide, this is by far the number one concern of retirees, is basically running out of money before they run out of life. And that's the number one thing I wrote down, is longevity. So you've got to make sure that you're going to have enough resources to make sure that you can't run out of money. Now, how can you do that? You hear me talk about it every single week, guaranteed lifetime income plans. The second risk in this outliving resources category is inflation, because inflation fits right in there with outliving resources. Well, what can you do for inflation? Again, y'all have heard me talk about that. You get a base amount of guaranteed income that's going to cover your income when you retire. And then we do several smaller plans that will just continue to grow and grow and grow, literally until you turn them on. And that can help overcome inflation in 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, 30, because they can grow until then. And then the last is excess withdrawal risk. This is one of the things kind of old school people think, oh, well, you can just withdraw 4% and you should be fine. Well, new studies have actually shown that's probably closer to 2 or 2.5%. But basically, excess withdrawal risk is taking out too much money and then not having enough for the rest of your life. Again, how do we combat all 3 of these? Have enough guaranteed lifetime income, not if-come that you're just pulling and hoping, actual guaranteed income that you know is going to come in. All right, the second category is risks associated with aging. Number 1, healthcare expenses. Huge, right? Well, how can we help with that? Basically, we need to make sure that you are in the absolute best healthcare plan that you can be in the right Medicare plan. Do you need a supplement? Do you need a Medicare Advantage plan? If you've got a supplement, you also need a drug plan. We need to make sure that you are in the absolute best thing. How do you do that? Get with someone that is completely independent and can show you all of your options to make sure you're in the best plan. The second thing associated with aging, long-term care. Y'all hear me talk about long-term care all the time. This is a massive challenge and a massive risk that so many people aren't paying any attention to. The most recent statistics say that over 70%, over 70%, 7 out of 10 people over the age of 65 are going to need long-term care at some point in their life. I've seen it eat away people's complete retirements because it's super expensive. If anyone's ever priced it, you know. So having a plan for that doesn't necessarily mean getting a long-term care policy, but there are some of these plans you hear me talk about that have long-term care benefits built into them. We can discuss that individually. The next thing is financial elder abuse. Unfortunately, there are a lot of scams, and I do a lot of podcasts and talking about scams and making sure that you aren't scammed. But unfortunately, that still is out there. And really, unfortunately, a lot of the financial elder abuse that happens from family members. So that's another risk associated with aging. One thing that we can do with that, if all your stuff is in a product that's just going to pay you guaranteed incomes, there's really nothing that can be done with that. So that's one way to get around that. All right, the next category, investment risks. These are big ones. Number one, market risk. Don't even need to talk to you about that. Everybody knows about market risk. If the market goes down, you lose money. The thing about it that most people don't know is, for example, if the market goes down 30%, you need between a 42 and 43% gain just to get back to even. Let me show you what I mean. You got $100,000 in an account, you lose 30%. Okay, you're down to $70,000. Well, most people think, oh, no big deal, it'll come back 30%. Okay, well, let's do 30% on 70,000. Where does that get you to? That's right, that gets you only to 91,000. You still would have 9,000 left just to get back to even. That's what I'm saying. You need between 42 and 43% increase after a 30% decrease just to get back to even. So market risk is huge. Investment rate and reinvestment. That risk is more so, if you put money into a plan now and then that plan is going to end at a certain time, you're going to wind up having to reinvest at whatever the rates are then. That's what that risk is. And lastly in here, and this is a big one, those of you that have read my book know about this, sequence of returns. This is exactly what happened to my father and exactly why he wound up having to go back to work and why his nice mid-six-figure retirement plan turned into a 5-figure savings plan and he had to go back to work. Sequence of returns. If the market goes down soon after you retire, it can be devastating. If it goes down 10, 15 years after you retire, not quite so bad. Okay, the next category, work risks. Number one, forced retirement. This is becoming more and more popular and more common that companies are forcing you to retire, and that leads right into the second risk under work, and that's re-employment. How re-employable will you be if that happens to you at 60, at 65, even in your late 50s if that happens? How are you going to get another job? So making sure you're prepared, making sure you're keeping your skills up, and making sure you're ready for whatever could happen. And then the very last category is family issues. Number one, death of your spouse. Because no matter how you look at it, that is going to cut money out. Now in Social Security, you lose your spouse, whichever one of you was getting the higher Social Security, the survivor will get that higher benefit, but the lower benefit's going to be gone. And then, of course, any other things that are coming in. Certain pensions don't have survivor benefits, so that could go away. A lot of different things. So that's number one. And then number two is any other unexpected financial responsibility from families that can happen. Families can need help from you. They can need different things. So essentially, we look at all of these when we're doing a holistic plan for a client of ours. We look at all of these risks and try to do the absolute best to keep these risks at bay so your retirement really can be safe and happy. This is Tim Wood, your host of the Safe Money Retirement Show. I'll be right back after this informative message.
Business owners, some of you have worked 20 and even 30 years to build your business. You're ready to sell this asset and go into retirement, but you don't want to risk or lose any of your hard-earned money. Property owners, have you just sold your property and need to turn that money into lifetime income? How about 401k participants? Have you recently changed jobs or reached the age 59 and a half and have a retirement account you don't want to see exposed to market losses? If you have money you're counting on for retirement, don't gamble your life's work away if you are nearing or in retirement. Take some chips off the table and do something to take the stress out of retirement. Call 833-413-SAFE. That's 833-413-7233. Your hard-earned money deserves our help. Call us now at 833-413-SAFE. That's 833-413-7233. Now back to more of the Safe Money Retirement Show with your host, Tim Wood.
Thank you for tuning in to the Safe Money Retirement Show. I'm Tim Wood, a market risk mitigation specialist helping clients with retirement money preservation and income planning. In today's case file, we are going to look at Doug. He is a 60-year-old man, and basically he was really just looking for some peace of mind that his family will be taken care of in case something happens to him. Unfortunately, we've all seen recently with COVID, with the hurricane and the floods, with everything that's happened, even if you're in really good health, which Doug is, something can happen and you can be taken away. He wants to make sure that his family is taken care of in case something happens. It's really a very commendable thing. So we sat down, looked at his concerns at length during our fact finder appointment, and what we determined the best fit for him was just simply a simple term life policy with an accidental death benefit that will double his benefits in case of an accident. So he didn't really have a need for income at that point. He didn't really have a need for other growth plans. I mean, really all he was looking for at that moment was to make sure that his family was protected in case something ever happened to him. Even though we did do a term policy and that term policy will have an end date, he felt that this would provide him the comfort that he was looking for him and his family, and that basically it'll get him to what he called a ripe old age before the term expired. So basically it gave him that peace of mind that he was looking for to make sure his family would be covered for the next 20 years in case something happened to him. And because it was just a term policy, it was very affordable. And Doug basically at the end said he now feels much more relieved and relaxed now that he knows his family will be taken care of no matter what happens. So again, that is an option. He came in, he was just looking for, what can we do to make sure my family is protected? And the great thing about life insurance is it always is paying in completely tax-free dollars. So not whoever gets that benefit is not going to ever have to worry about paying taxes. It's completely tax-free. Now, how can this apply to you? Maybe you also are in kind of the same situation and you are concerned about members of your family. It could be immediate members. It could be grandkids. It could be aunts. It could be whatever. Well, we could look at doing sort of the same thing for you. We can look at what's going to make the most sense in an actual just good old-fashioned life insurance policy, because for pennies on the dollar, you can get a life insurance policy that is going to pay a 100% completely tax-free benefit to your beneficiaries once it's needed. So just give us a call. We can look at your specific situation and see what might be a good fit for you if you are looking to make sure that members of your family are taken care of once you're gone. Well, I'm about out of time, and I would like to thank you for listening to the Safe Money Retirement Show. If you're serious about your financial future, give me a call, and together we'll get your retirement savings on the fast track to accumulate while reducing exposure to market loss. Thanks for listening, and until next time at the same time, I'm Tim Wood reminding you to stay safe so you can step into a secure future.
You've been listening to the Safe Money Retirement Show with your host, Tim Wood. Find out how to contractually guarantee that your hard-earned money is safe from market losses and that you have an income you can't outlive so you can have the retirement that you deserve. Call Tim Wood now for your complimentary Safe Money Retirement Book and Information Kit at 833-413-SAFE. That's 833-413-7233. 833 or request your copy of Tim's book online at safemoneyretirement.com. The preceding information does not represent tax, legal, or investment advice. Surrender charges apply to base contracts. Optional lifetime income benefit riders are used to calculate lifetime payments only and are not available for cash surrender or in a death benefit unless specified in the annuity contract. Fees may apply. Guarantees are based on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the insurance company. No information presented today should be acted upon without meeting with a qualified and licensed professional. Obviously, by calling us now, you are just taking the first step towards protecting your retirement. It's important that you read all insurance contract disclosures carefully before making a purchase decision. Rates and returns mentioned on this program are subject to change without notice.